Hey YouTube, Alan here. So last time when I was talking about my various holsters that I'm using to carry my Beretta, I mentioned that the Crossbreed wasn't covering the trigger guard completely. And I posted the video on Facebook and I did get a couple of questions about exactly what I meant by that. So to explain that, instead of trying to say and tell and gesticulate, I figured I show. So here is my Beretta. Okay, let's unload it as usual. There we go. There's nothing there. Oops, not the muzzle there. As you can see, there's nothing there. Nothing there. Okay, now close it. Decock. Okay. Okay. Safe weapon. Now, when we look at, so I'm in shorts, so I've been carrying in the JM custom Kydex. So when we look here, okay, and I close this, watch. Okay, now as you can see here, the trigger is fully covered by the holster. There is nothing, no light that can be seen through the trigger, and of course also the weapon is held quite securely. That's another, the reason I mentioned this is because that's another, what some claim a disadvantage of the hybrid holsters like the Super Tuck from Crossbreed. So, but essentially, as you can see here, the trigger guard, the trigger, everything is completely covered and the pistol is held quite securely. Now, let's go to the Crossbreed. Too many things lying around. So here's my Crossbreed. Again, it's the Founder's leather or Founder's style or whatever they call it. Okay, now, again, I holster the weapon. Watch this. Okay, now, as you can see here, clearly, the trigger guard here and where the holster goes, okay, there is a little bit of a gap. Now again, there is nothing here really. The trigger is covered, if you see. So if I get this, see, the trigger is actually completely covered here, but let me get it back on. So the trigger is covered, so there's really not a lot of opportunity for something when you have this tucked in like this, for something to hit the trigger. So I don't think it's a safety issue, but some people complain about that because it does allow stuff to get in here when you're carrying, like lint and dust and whatever, and that can, over time, that can get to your trigger here and possibly, you know, require cleaning more than possibly even taking the trigger off. So that's the thing that I was trying to mention. The other thing is that, and I'm going to be careful here, is that, see, the gun is not held as tight as it was in, see, it falls out. So that's another gripe that I have seen from some people about the hybrid holsters. Because of the way they are made, the Kydex is not quite tight enough to hold it, which I believe is wrong or erroneous for two reasons. Number one, when you carry, you will have this in your pocket, and so there is going to be tension that is going to be exerted between your belt. Let me see if I can demonstrate this. Between your belt, see, now that there is, I put a little bit of tension between the back and the front, which would be where the belt runs, right here, right? When you have that tension on there is nothing moving. This pistol is not gonna fall out. So again, people that, you know, make demonstrations on YouTube and say bad things about these types of holsters, they're correct, but they don't tell you the whole truth. Because again, like this, there is nothing coming out. Now there's another thing that you can do. If you don't like the fact that without tension, the pistol can possibly fall out like it did. You can actually take these holsters and you put them in the oven. If you put it in the oven, heat up the Kydex, and then with the pistol in here, press the trigger guard here, the middle section here. That will basically make it to where your trigger guard clicks in between the indentation here and then the outside that follows the trigger guard. That will make it to where this holster is just as retaining upside down without any tension as the JM Custom Kydex. I highly recommend all these holsters. They work great for me, but, and that's a big but, big but, they may not work for you. I have drawers full of holsters downstairs that fit my various pistols that I thought were comfortable, but after wearing them for a couple of days in a row, I found that they do produce pressure points that, unless you carry really consistently day in and day out for extended periods, you will not feel those pressure points until you had the holster in the same place for a couple of days. Don't worry about people telling you that this is bad or that these don't retain, because that's really, again, it's not really BS, but it is only part of the truth. Well, YouTube, stay safe.